Welcome, folks, to another edition of a post-race analysis video on the channel. We're going to recap the Brickyard 400, what went down in the race, and check how the fantasy team did at the end of it. Boy, was it an actually fun race here at Indy today. Again, a lot like track position played out at Pocono the week before. I kind of figured that was going to become a factor here today, so I was planning and anticipating on guys like Harvick, Hamlin, Almirola to run towards the front of the field like they did in both races last weekend at Pocono. That seemed to be the case here today. We're going to break this thing down stage by stage. So stage one was pretty quiet. Again, I was on the road for most of the race, but I was able to watch it because I was sitting passenger side. So once we got to about 27-ish laps to go, I was able to actually sit down and watch the rest of it. But back out in the truck right now, as you see right here, because we're at a hotel for the rest of the night before I head back home in the morning. But yeah, so I was able to catch pretty much the entire race. Might have missed a couple things here and there, but again, I'm going to do my best to recap this. So first and foremost, we started off here today. It was pretty clean through the first stage for the most part, so you got towards the end of the stage. I'm trying to think what brought out that first caution of the race. Already kind of stumbling here. In that first stage, so we had the competition yellow, and unfortunately there was a circumstance on pit road. There was a pileup on pit road. All 40 cars ended up coming down at once because everybody was on the lead lap by the competition yellow. There was a crash that involved Ricky Stenhouse, Corey LaJoy, and I believe Martin Truex Jr. were the three guys involved that ended up having the 15 car. Also the 48 of Justin Allgaier filling in for Jimmy Johnson was involved also. Brendan Poole tried to swing out to miss Justin Allgaier was right in front of him, jammed on the brakes. 15 of Brendan Poole was trying to miss everybody, including the other three cars that were wrecked at the outside, and unfortunately clipped the rear tire changer for the 12 of Ryan Blaney's crew. Very unfortunate there. It was tough to see exactly what happened. It looked like a leg and hip injury of some sort. No documentation on what happened to him other than he was transported to a nearby hospital. So best wishes are with him throughout the course of the race. That was very unfortunate. Obviously, Blaney's car got damaged, but first and foremost, we had an injured member of the NASCAR team today, so we're going to all wish best of luck for him going forward. Hopefully he can get back to a speedy recovery and back to pit road soon in the upcoming races. So that was pretty much the big thing that happened in stage one. Unfortunately, it had to happen like that. And then we got a late race restart further on, but still that changed the track position game. You had all the drivers that wanted to keep the track position come the start of stage two come down pit road, which left guys like William Byron and Austin Dillon also stayed out there towards the end. But William Byron got the stage one victory because of that. Good for him because he obviously doesn't have a win this year, and he was right on that playoff bubble coming in. But he had a solid points day because of that stage win alone. We came into stage two. It played out a lot better in stage two. A lot cleaner again until about second half of the stage. Eric Jones ended up blowing a right front tire this time, and Eric Jones hit the wall really, really hard. It was a violent hit, one of many violent hits that we saw today with an arrow roulette of right front tires, unfortunately. We've seen that at Indy in the past. We've seen it way worse than what we had it today, but it seemed like all the crashes were very hard at sharp angles in the middle of turns 1 or turn 3 on the highest speed entry into a corner on the racetrack at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But yeah, so Eric Jones ended up crashing out early. A lot of Toyotas having problems early on. Obviously, Martin Truex Jr.'s day was done after wrecking on pit road. He was down in horsepower after about the first lap of the race. Also, was just consistently driving back, and he had a short day, of course, on top of it. So rough for the JGR teammates. And then further on, after we'll get to it in a little bit here, but yeah, okay, we'll get to it in a little bit here. But Kevin Harvick had a really, really solid day, ended up winning stage two. Got a lot of points, put himself in the driver's seat come stage three. Him and Hamlin were battling back and forth. A bunch of crazy restarts in this one, included Kevin Harvick going 3 wide down to the bottom to swing by both Chase Elliott and Denny Hamlin, who were battling for the lead off a restart. And Harvick almost took it in the grass. I thought he was going to put it in the grass. He literally said in the post-race interview he had no more room, and boy, did he ever. He did not have any more room and cleared everybody going into the corner. Early in stage 3, they had another crazy restart. Hamlin tried to pull the same move on both Harvick and, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was Chase Elliott. Elliott at the time he was battling for the lead with again there, but it was it was Austin Dillon. Austin Dillon, Kevin Harvick battling for the lead towards the beginning of stage 3. Hamlin pulled the same maneuver, cleared both of them going into 3. Harvick made an outside daring pass going into turn 3. And I don't know how he got it to stick and sucked the air off the right rear at the same time of Denny Hamlin was able to slip on by. Hold on to the lead. Hamlin short pitted by 1 lap to get the track position back on Kevin Harvick. And then a late race caution came out again. Unfortunately, though, it was a late race caution. We had a late race caution with Alex Bowman. Track position played out. Hamlin was able to keep the lead on the restart. Looked like Harvick had the faster car, was gaining in, and then as the run started to go on, Hamlin was slowly pulling away. But in pulling away, he was eating up the right front tire, and more bad luck for JGR here today as Denny Hamlin blew a right front tire with about 7 laps to go into turn 1. Another very hard crash into the outside wall. And that brought out the last caution of the race. Set up an overtime restart in which you saw Kevin Harvick and Matt Kenseth restart in the front row. Harvick had a lot of help from behind him from Cole Custer. Almirola tried to help Matt Kenseth. Kenseth spun the tires. Harvick took off on the restart. No match for Kenseth to catch him. Kenseth got back up to second. Never had the chance to get to the lead despite having 10-lap fresher tires there at the very end. Clean air was definitely a big part of this race today. Strategy was a big part of the race, much like at Pocono, but there were a lot of very hard crashes throughout the course of this race. But hopefully everybody's okay. Everybody seemed to be okay driver-wise. Obviously that pit crew member. And also Ryan Blaney. Blaney was the driver that brought out that late caution in stage 2 rather. He had went for a spin before Eric Jones actually did. It just looked like he lost control. I don't know. It was off a restart. He might have gotten shoved going into the corner or maybe down the straightaway. Probably down the straightaway from Christopher Bell. Carried a little more speed than what he wanted to. Drifted straight up the track and around. So Blaney's day ended pretty sooner rather than later throughout the course of the race, and that whole 12 team in general definitely had a rough one between the 2 races at Pocono last week, getting a lot of stage points but not getting a lot of race finishing points, and then today having a rough day. That stinks for them. They were second in points coming in, 50 points behind Harvick, who eventually ended up going on to win because, again, that late race restart after Hamlin blew the tire while leading the race with 7 to go. So unfortunate there. With the aero roulette of the tires, I thought it was a good race. It wasn't a great race. It was a good race. It was a solid race. By Brickyard 400 standards, it was honestly a pretty good race, despite what has been going on with this package in the clean air, which is a problem when you go to Indy anyway, so I wouldn't even factor that into consideration hardly at all. So that was pretty much the post-race analysis. We'll take a look at the finishing results. We had a lot of underdogs, so to say, and young guns in the top 10. So we'll take a look at that, and then we'll take a look at how the fantasy team did. So let's take a look at the finishing results here in today's Brickyard 400. Kevin Harvick wins back-to-back Brickyard 400s with the win, getting the most points today as well, adding on to the points lead, and of course scoring 6 playoff points total with the stage win in stage 2, plus the race win. Matt Kenseth, great run at second, consistently was moving up throughout the course of the day, ended up in the second position after starting 21st, so great run for him. Eric Almirola third, Brad Keselowski kind of had a quiet but nice day in fourth. Same with Almirola, he was up there early, fell back in the middle portion of the race, got back up to the front towards the end there with the cautions playing in his favor, of course. Cole Custer finished 5th, great top 5 run. I believe that's his first career top 5, if I'm not wrong. But if I am, correct me in the comments section below. But he came from the rear. Probably the best run we've seen Cole Custer have all day today. The Stewart-Haas cars are usually pretty tough when we go to the Brickyard 400, and he rode strong with that momentum. Kyle Busch had a 6th place finish today, was consistently in the top 10, quiet as far as the race win goes. Michael McDowell snuck in there late. So did Tyler Reddick and Bubba Wallace. McDowell 7th, Reddick 8th, and Bubba Wallace 9th. All great runs. The rookie Reddick was in the top 10 a lot in the final stage of the race. So is Christopher Bell, who actually fell back on that last restart of the race, or second to last restart, and then he ended up pitting under that last caution because he thought he had a vibration. Still came back to finish 12th there, as you see, and Logano rounded out the top 10. Started on the pole, was basically outside the top 10 all day, but got a top 10 because of the DNFs. There was an issue on the final lap of the race also between Matt DiBenedetto and Austin Dillon. They were battling inside the top 10, which might have helped Bubba Wallace and Logano get that top 10 finish. Austin Dillon had the corner. It was hard to tell, obviously, going into, I believe, turn 3 it was. on whether or not Dillon was blocking DiBenedetto down the back stretch, but DiBenedetto stuffed it into turn 3 when he probably shouldn't have. You got to be thinking big picture, especially with Austin Dillon and DiBenedetto both on the playoff bubble. Costly for both of them, more so for DiBenedetto in the sake that it seemed like he was the most deserving of the blame, I guess, so to say, for that incident. But yeah, a lot of strong runs in the top 15, guys you wouldn't think of, like I said, with the Bubba Wallace and Michael McDowell top 10. But McDowell's actually had some quite but good runs throughout the course of the last 5 or 6 races. Daniel Suarez of the top 20, and then there you see William Byron, stage 1 winner, fell behind late. I believe he might have brought out a caution, if I'm not mistaken. Could have missed that. But yeah, you look at the DNFs there: Denny Hamlin, Alex Bowman, Chris Buescher, Ryan Blaney, Eric Jones, Ryan Newman, Brendan Poole, Ricky Stenhouse, Justin Allgaier, Mark Truex Jr., Corey LaJoie, Ryan Preece. So a lot of DNFs here at Indianapolis here today, 12 to be exact, that did not finish this race. So that is a look at the results. Now let's take a look at how the fantasy team did. Well, I think it's safe to say I didn't win the $10,000 today, but at the same time had a strong run regardless of the facts. So we'll take a look at what happened with the fantasy team here in today's race. Again, quiet but good run for Brad Keselowski. Got a top 5 finish, as you saw there. Only 2 stage points, but at least he got the finishing points. Same thing with Almirola. Ended up sneaking in with a top 3 finish. That is adding on to his career high now. A 5th straight top 5 finish. Good for Eric Almirola, 34 points total, but no stage points today, unfortunately. He's way above the cut line. He's trying to get that race win or two to try and get more playoff points. He should make it on points easily. He's almost 2 races ahead the cut line. Kyle Busch is almost 2 races ahead the cut line himself, but not as strong of a run as Almirola had at the very end of the race. Still top 10 day, 7 stage points for Kyle Busch, also solid on the fantasy team. Harvick, of course, scored the most points, so he was solid, won the race, won his stage. And Ryan Blaney's right cap in stage 2. I was able to get him to the garage because originally I was going to have Almirola back there because, like I said, Almirola started off good, was slowly moving back as the race went on. Final stage, he was on it, and they made the right adjustments and got the track position he needed there. So Blaney was in the garage, didn't use him there, and Hamlin, who was running very well at the end of the race, still blowing the right front. If Harvick could have gotten, I know, coulda, woulda, shoulda, but if Harvick could have gotten around Hamlin those final couple laps of the race, which probably wasn't going to happen, but if he could have gotten around him somehow, some way, and Denny Hamlin didn't wreck at the very end there, there's a very good chance I probably could have ended up winning the 10 grand, because you see there, got a lot of stage points, had Harvick winning every stage in the race, of course, Ford as well. So 30 bonus points there, that really helped. And it was second highest, I believe, if I remember correctly, in the league. So, yeah, definitely not the 10,000, but solid points day. Should move up a couple thousand again, and still 10 races to go in the regular season. So comment down below who you guys thought won the race. Got another prediction right myself here today, adding on to the season total. I'll comment that down in the comment section below, as well as how the entire preseason predictions have been going so far. So stay tuned for that. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We got NASCAR Heat 5 coming up here in 2 days now, so I'm excited and pumped for that, to get that season premiere underway. And then also, if you enjoyed this video here today. Be happy to read your guys' comments as usual, and have a good rest of your night.